Hiya, it's Lexi here. I'm still in Mozambique. Christmas is next week. I did not mean to rhyme, but hey, man, buzz. Maybe. Listen, I music is not my art, but I feel like if I do some vocal lessons, I like really get into my creative bag and I start writing, you could see something. Y'all just wait. Anywho, this week's episode is gonna be very fashion focused. I was actually quite confused about what I was gonna like talk about this week, because like end of the year, it's like nothing crazy is happening. So I'm gonna like do a little bit of a rewind on a few things. I didn't know whether I wanted to touch on the subject or not, but I was kind of like, you know what, like this is something that's interesting, that's relevant, that brings forward so many different like issues, or it's just so contemporarily relevant to like today, not only because of fashion but also because of like politics in some sort of way as well. And it's a potential indication of how businesses, how the fashion industry, how celebrity culture affects, or maybe not affects, but can be indicative of where we are sort of culturally as well as politically. It might be a potential indication, but I never wanted to make this podcast for it to be a political podcast. I think I have shared, or people have heard some of my political views on this podcast, which is fine, which is perfectly cool, which I do not mind. I hope not to be sort of judged upon my political views. That is not something that I would necessarily want. I think what this podcast is primarily about is about law, fashion, and AI, and how those three intersect. I think in this specific episode, those might intersect potentially, but we'll see as we go along. That's really how I've been doing my podcast. I'm like, whatever I feel in the moment, whatever I feel like is relevant, whatever I feel like needs to be talked about, I will definitely talk about it. Because I always like to be able to bring an episode which I think is like interesting and, you know, sparks and ignites a certain like feel within me, and I would hope to sort of transmit that feel to other people. That is what I particularly want to do with my podcast. I never want it to feel like a task or a chore in any way, shape, or form. That's how I feel about it. I think, especially, this is going to be a very fashion-focused episode. And, you know, when I was doing my research on what I potentially wanted to talk about, there were, like, so many things that came up. And most of them were, like, AI-related. Like, yeah, fashion industry and AI. Bubble bursting, AI, fashion. AI. And I'm like, okay, guys. This is great and all, but when are we going to see something else? Like, surely AI can't be everything. That's what I mean by overrated. Way too overrated. But everybody I have talked to about AI, everybody I've seen talk about AI, they're all like, you know what, this is the future, get acclimated now, and I'm like, you know what, I like to consider myself up to speed with what's going on with AI. I think it's something that is important to know about. I also think it's really good commercial awareness. So for those of you who need things to need to impress people, or need to go to a job interview, talk about AI. Definitely. Damn, I feel like I'm going on a tangent. Let me not start talking about AI, because that's just going to be never ending. But yeah, everything is like super AI related nowadays. But I think with fashion, there's also been some interesting advancements, sorts of mergers and acquisitions that have been made. Mergers in general have come up a lot this year. What is that crazy one? The Warner Brothers, everyone's like, Paramount is fighting for it, Netflix fighting for it, and I'm like, guys, it's giving monopoly. And I don't know if that's a good thing. Usually it's not. So I'm like, surely the FTC isn't gonna allow this, right? Right? We'll find out. Anywho, Maybe I'll speak on that next week. So we see how things go, because the merger hasn't gone through yet. They're still negotiating, doing up bidding wars. So next week, that might be what we might talk about. But I'll see how I feel, since it's Christmas next week. So I'll still post, obviously, but I wouldn't expect anything crazy. But anywho, let's get into it. Next segment. And we're back. So what happened? What happened was that Sydney Sweeney, I don't know if people know who she is. She's an actor. She's I first found out about her because of Euphoria, but she went on to do I didn't see her in The Handmaid's Tale because I stopped watching. But I should probably get back into it because I want to see what she do. The books are good though. Yeah, so she was in I found out about her in Euphoria, so that was years ago. Then I also saw her in The White Lotus, and she did a really good job. Then she's been in The Handmaid's Tale. Then she's been in sort of like other movies. She recently did a movie where she was like this boxer who she was portraying this boxer, so it was a biopic. So yeah, essentially Sydney Sweeney went viral for her American Eagle denim campaign with the tagline that said Sydney Sweeney has great genes, and it essentially sparked major debate over like eugenics, white supremacy, racial undertones, basically due to her appearance, because she's like blonde, blue-eyed woman. She has a you could say she has a big chest, things of that nature. So she's like very aesthetically, you could say she's aesthetically good looking, like by modern beauty standards. And essentially it played on a pun of like genes, and genes like genes you wear, but also genes that you have. And she really like loves, she said that she loves the brand and she doesn't support the hate. And you know what, in her head she's really getting the bag. That's what it sounded like to me. Now I saw the ad and I immediately saw what was happening. I was just there like, oh, so this is what we're doing. Okay. Do I think it's good PR? I don't know. I primarily think, and I feel like I'll be saying this a lot, is that Sydney Sweeney is there for the bag. She's getting her money up. I think I was reading somewhere that like she hasn't been doing great like box office wise, and then Euphoria's ending. But I'm pretty sure Handmaid's Tale is basically also ending, but I think her character also dies off at some point. Then White Lotus, she was only in that one season because I think it's like it's basically an anthology series, so it's like who you're gonna get this season is not who you might get next season yet. So honestly, she's just trying to get her bag, but it's not one of the only things she's done. What else did she do? She teamed up with Dr. Squatch, which is like this like, what do they do? Dr. Squatch does like soaps and like hand washes and stuff like that, and she basically like sold her bathwater. And I'm like, guys, she's trying to get her bag. Like, if we really sit down and deeply think about what's happening here, this is somebody who is using their money and fame to get more money and fame. Because in the acting world, your residual checks ain't good. So it's like, yeah, even though people might be streaming Euphoria, it's not looking good for you, bro. She don't sing, so it's not like she can pivot. So what is she gonna do? She's gonna do advertisements. Mind you, I'm not backing the ad. I think in this political climate specifically, I don't think it was a smart decision to be behind this. Honestly, no. It's giving Aryan. It's giving white supremacy. Like, it is. We can't sit here and say it's not. Like, no. And then I think American Eagle tried to, like, back it up and do something with Beyonce. What was it? Let me try and search this up real quick. What else did they say? Like, they really try to do something, talk about... What was it? Yeah, Levi's did something with Beyonce after that. And I was like, yeah, guys. I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. I think they tried to... I'm not saying they tried to do like... Beyonce has... They did something. I can see it right now. But I forgot what the tagline was. I was just there like, yeah, guys. So much is happening. Like, how are you going to hit back at her because of this? Does this make sense? What were they trying to capitalize on? What's going on here, guys? These are things you have to think about. Listen, I have friends that are marketing, and I would love to hear their perspective on stuff, because I'm really here thinking to myself, was this smart? Okay, they had controversy there. Then Levi's is like, yeah, we can do it too, but like, let's have Beyonce on it. And, you know, Beyonce did like Cowboy Carter and like all these different things. So a lot of like what she was wearing was also very jeans related. But I don't know. It's weird. I think if you're trying to appeal to the masses, it doesn't make sense for you to have been aligned with this ad specifically. Things could have been done more subtly. And you have to start wondering yourself, Sydney Sweeney, sure, whatever, she's getting her bag, but it's like, what is American Eagle trying to do? Like, who are they trying to appeal to by running an ad like this? And by getting someone like Sydney Sweeney on the ad. You know what I mean? Those are things that you have to question. Yeah, the bag, but also, girl, like, are you sure about this? Because no. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not saying I'm not entitled to an opinion, but it's not something that I should care about. I think I'm not in the US. I don't wear American Eagle like that. I don't wear American Eagle, period. So it's like, I'm not giving them my money. So it's like, why should I care about what goes on that side? You know what I mean? Like, we have our own problems down south. But it does make you question in which direction the fashion industry is specifically going in. That they feel like it's okay to air an ad like that in this year of our Lord 2025. I think there's been so much like progression in terms of like inclusivity, diversity, and just being inclusive of so many people, that to sort of revert back to like, you could say, yeah, to sort of revert back to this and be like, yeah, this should be the beauty standard type of thing. I think it speaks volumes to who American Eagle wishes to be aligned with. Maybe a few years back, this is not what they were trying to do. But you know what? If they felt like, okay, this is the campaign that we want, this is what's going to get us the most sales, this actor, this actress, either or, is someone who we feel will probably represent our brand, then so be it. So be it. I think they knew that it would have this effect, because obviously, like, you can't run a campaign ad like this and then be surprised, right? Like, how are you gonna be surprised that people's is mad? Of course people are upset about this. Like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Especially given this political climate where we feel like not only are we reverting back to, like, this idea that, you know, diversity is bad, or, you know, things of that nature. It's like, it makes you wonder, does American Eagle want to, like, cozy up to the Trump administration and things like that? I think that's what it really, like, goes back to. And you know, if that's the way they're doing it, then we know where they stand. And if you stand with that, I guess you can give them your money. If you don't stand with that, I guess we have to be more conscious about where we put our money. It's simple as that. I think when it comes to these things, I think it comes down to political power. It's kind of like, you as a consumer have to be able to look at this and be like, I agree, I don't agree. Simple. That's what marketing is. It's being able, I think marketing is like it shows what the brand stands for. And if the brand stands for something you don't stand for, then you as a consumer have to be conscious that, you know what, I'm not gonna stand for what they do. I'm gonna give my money, and I'm gonna get my money and put it elsewhere, essentially. So that is really what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what. It really just matters to you at the end of the day, because. But maybe it was all a ploy, you know. Try to like do a campaign by like doing this campaign to boost sales and to create like a cultural firestorm, so everybody's talking about it. Fair enough. So it's like, okay, does American Eagle want like quote unquote white supremacists following it? Maybe. But these things are so. I think when it comes to politics, we have to be able to sit down and be like, what is an issue and what is a non-issue? Is this really an issue? Is it? Or is this a non-issue? Depends. I think it depends on what you particularly care about. When I look at politics, I look at, okay, how are individuals going to be, how are people going to be able to live a life in which they are satisfied and they are in which they have overall well-being. This is not an issue. I'll be so real. Get out of here, bruh. Get out of here, man. Please. Okay. That's what I have to say about that, but I'm going to do an even deeper dive into it. Let's see. Next segment. To get more into the controversy, yeah, the tagline was Sweeney has great genes. Again, wordplay on clothing, genes, and genetic traits. They just talk about, yeah, you know, phenotypes, wada, and it's like, Jesus Christ. So online users said that the ad is specifically featuring, you know, blonde, blue-eyed actress, stuff like that, promoting eugenics and white supremacist ideals. And then other people praised the ad. Even Donald Trump chimed in, and I was like, how are you, as a president of a country, chiming in on this? Do you not have better things to do? Surely you do, sir. Surely, right? I would hope so. And people are like, you know what, it's just a jeans ad. But it's not the first time jeans ads like this come up. There's always been controversial jeans ads. For example, in the 1980s, Calvin Klein did a similar thing with Brooke Shields, where she's also talking about jeans and like basically same script. But it did raise hackles for the use of young female models in like a sexually suggestive way. And she apparently in the ad she says, you know what gets between me and my Calvin Klein and my Calvins? Nothing, you know, stuff like that, where it's like, that's a child. And mind you, in the ad she's like putting the jeans on, they're not like already on her, and it's like, why are we as an audience seeing the legs of a 15-year-old child? Like, no, like, I don't think it's right. Like, we're seeing her dress, you know, those are things that make you quite like, how is that appropriate? That is like super inappropriate, right? People are gonna be, oh, but back in the day, no, even if it was back in the day, it was still wrong, you know what I mean? Like, those are not things that should be happening. I think, what is it? I think the fashion industry, it's strange. It's like, there was such a praise for like, there's even in the industry as a whole, it's like they want you to be able to look as young as possible, as skinny as possible, and it's like, you just like children, huh? Right? Or you sexualize children, or you want women to like have that childish like look, and it's like, that's not even possible. And it's like, and it's such a paradox. I think that's what it is. It's just such a juxtaposition, because it's like, on one hand, you like women to look young because why, actually? You want women to look young, and you want women to look young because there's like the presumption of like innocence, but then it's like, you're also sexualizing these young models and these young women. and giving them sort of like adult characteristics when it's like they're in fact not adults. So, just like strange things like that, which like make you question how sick people are. I think that's the best way of saying it. And I think it's also being questioned here, because I remember when it was going on, I was like seeing things in real time, and it's like, oh, y'all just don't like hot people. And it's like the right is saying, y'all don't like hot people. And it's like, that's not what we're saying. Like, no one on the left is saying they don't like hot people. But it's like, why is this a specific ad that had to be run? Like, do we not see the problem here? Do we not see how suggestive it is? Do we not see how it can be portrayed as slightly eugenistic, as slightly white supremacist? That's not a word. Do we not see how this can be controversial and be maybe offensive to certain like demographics and certain people in society who don't fit that mold, essentially? Like, I don't fit that mold. If I saw that gene ad, I'd be there like, oh, Sweeney has great genes. What do they think about me then? The hell? You know what I mean? It's like, me as a consumer, I wouldn't be convinced personally. Or even these other gene ads, which have also been weird throughout the years. Which one is this? I think it was the Calvin Klein Once More, 1995. Criticized for alluding to child exploitations. Models, including Kate Moss, were filmed as they undid their jeans and were asked, "Are you nervous?" You see, these things again. Why are you having children? Why are you having children? Or like young teens, or like, what is it? Young adults. Like, if teen is in your last of age, you are child. Please. Why are you having people of that age group do things like that? You see, again, it's weird. It's like super strange. And then it's like, yeah, they made millions. Why is it making millions? Why is it making millions? And sex sells, but I don't know about this. I genuinely don't know about this. It's strange. Even this Sydney Sweeney stuff is strange. But I think it's a criticism of the fashion industry as a whole, where it's like, for you to be able to look young and be as skinny as possible, it's like only young people have that. Like, if I look at like my face, and even my face is matured. Obviously, my face is matured, and so has my body. If I look at that and how I was when I was like 15, 16, like, those are complete different people. And it's like, you are aiming for grown women to look like that, but it's like super unrealistic. And that's, I think, one of the biggest criticisms I have of the beauty industry, of the fashion industry, is that you push women to look like this, but it's like, women cannot look like that. Unless you are Kris Jenner. Again, Kris Jenner, what you do to your face, girl? Who did you go to? Who's your dermatologist? Who's your plastic surgeon? Because homie did a great job. But I think it's unrealistic, because it's like, if you're 80, but it's like you have a face of a 40-year-old woman, like, isn't that strange? Like, how are you walking around and thinking that that's okay? I think I'm so for people embracing who they are, and I think maybe that's what Sweeney wanted to do in this ad specific. She's like, yeah, I'm blonde, I'm blue-eyed, I'm beautiful. Lots of people seem to think so. What's the problem? I just did a jeans ad. But it's like, girl, surely you see the problem, right? We're not crazy. Like, we know what you're doing. This is the thing, is we know what you're doing. And it's like, how? Why? What is the purpose of this? It really brings into perspective sort of like what the fashion industry, not only what it wants, what it's doing, but like how it wishes to operate and who wishes to align with. Because if we've made so much progression and so many advancements over the past, let's say, decade or even 2 decades in making sure, let me say decade, because anything pre-2010 things were not that liberal in 2010. I'll say it for a fact. No ways. 2010 onwards, 2010 onwards, things were way low. Like, things were way more liberal. Like, you could actually be yourself. Anything before that, lol, you in the closet, bitch. Let me stop. But yeah, I think we've made so many advances over the past decade for people to be included, for there to be inclusivity, for there to be, let me not say DEI, but yeah, for a lot of DEI, and for people to actually be like, okay, you can be yourself regardless, and you can show up in this place, in this position of power, regardless of who you are and what you look like. This seems like a regression. And why are we funding this regression? I don't understand. I'm not seeing it. Like, I'm not understanding. Yeah, it gives American Eagle hype, but it's like, is this the hype that you want? Because what if the pendulum shifts and now you've done this? We won't forget. The internet is forever. Even 1980s, with no internet, people still were able to capture that and say, look what happened then. Crazy. Dude, this is not going to end well for them. Because when the pendulum shifts quite soon, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll be like, well, look at it. Who would have known? We all would have known. Crazy. Why would you do this? Anywho, man. Next segment. So, we're back. We talked about the controversy. We talked about what the issue is. We talked about Sweeney. We talked about why people would see that ad as controversial. But what we did not talk about was her reaction to it. What she thought of not only the ad, but the backlash. She said she loved the ad. And, and I quote, she expressed surprise at the intense reaction, stating her intent was to support the brand that she loves. I didn't know American Eagle was her favorite brand, but okay. She clarifies that she's against hate and divisiveness, hoping to bring people together, acknowledge her silence might have worsened the divide. Yeah, because she was quiet for a minute, like peep. Nothing came out of her mouth. Nothing. I'm talking mouse. Like, we did not hear from Girly Pop. She was just there like frolicking, I don't know, taking in money. You know what? It is what it is. But then she did an interview with GQ and Miss Catherine Stoffel. Oh, Catherine let her have it. Some people said she wasn't tough enough on her. I saw snippets of the interview and I was like, no, I think she was pretty tough on her about it. She really tried. Here's the thing. I feel like you have to watch the interview. Sweeney ain't have nothing behind her eyes. She was asking a question. So, like, for example, let me read like an excerpt. Talk about, Trump tweeted about the jeans ad. That just seems like a very crazy moment. Sydney said, it was surreal. She don't care. Like, y'all have to sit down here and realize that this woman does not care. She's here for her bag. She's here for the bag. Then it goes, the risk is that there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues. Do you worry about that? Girl said, no. Stoffel continues. She goes, the criticisms were that maybe white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. I just wanted to allow you to talk about that specifically. Sydney said, I think that when I have an issue, that I will speak about it. People will hear. She does not care. She don't care. She has made this very clear. She doesn't care about what you think about her. She doesn't care. And you know what the thing is? The internet is wicked. The internet is so wicked because, tell me why, after this Jean ad was released and after she was saying all these things and after she didn't say anything and then she did say something, people went to find out. People like literally went to go research. They were like, oh, she's a registered Republican in Florida. How do you know? How do you know? That's something like, how do you know her voting registration information? How does that even make sense? Why is that something you know about? Who is taking time out of their day to search that shit up? Like, as a society, we have to start prioritizing things. This is what I mean by when it comes to politics, I will only discuss things that are actual issues. This is a non-issue. This is a non-issue. I'm not saying white supremacy is a non-issue. I'm just saying on a day-to-day, on a daily basis thing, how is this discourse going to help people pay their rent, feed their families, and have a fulfilling enough life which they can be happy about? It's not. It's really not. So you taking time out of your beautiful day to go and search up who Sweeney voting for is mad. I think what added to the controversy is that it's not the first time people have noticed that she might be MAGA, because she was at a family event with some like family members, and apparently they were wearing like MAGA hats, the whole like Make America Great Again hat and stuff. And it's like, guys, I'm not even on social media. So let's just start there. That's just number one. Number two, I am not so deeply ingrained in celebrity culture that I would know these things. Everything I know about this is something that I have researched and I have seen and I have like dabbled in. I'm like, so this is what's going on. When it was really blowing up, that's why I was looking into it. But I was just like, do I speak on it? Do I not speak on it? Never mind. It's like, I don't have parasocial relationships with any celebrities. I don't advocate for parasocial relationships with celebrities. I think as a human being, you should go and live out your own life. And why would I worry about someone on the internet? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't live their life. I don't know them. They're not in my inner circle. And unless they are in my inner circle, I have nothing to say to them or I have nothing to say about them. And this is why I believe that there is a suggestion that in a few years' time, the internet will be mostly like AI, and it will be bots, and it won't be actual human beings. And I believe it, because if I had still had Instagram and I went to like Sweeney's page and I went to like the comment section, I'm pretty sure people would be blowing it up, saying some crazy things. But it's like, are these actual people or are these bots? Because then you click on the account and it's like, 1,000 followers, no posts, some weird shit in the bio, no picture. And it's like, this is a bot. That's not a real person. Be serious. Like, and then, oh my god. Twitter released this feature where you can see where the account is like was created, and apparently that caused a lot of controversy because a lot of the accounts that were like posting, I guess, like maybe you could say like Reform UK type things and like MAGA things, you could see that they weren't even in the country. They were like geographically somewhere completely different, like UAE, in India, somewhere Kenya, wara. And it's like, you guys, these are bots. These are not real people. These are not people in your backyard. Then I was reading somewhere that there's this guy that is making millions off of like rage baiting, essentially. Like, he lives in, I want to say the Philippines. I really want to say the Philippines. It's either India or in the Philippines. Or it was Bangladesh. I don't fully remember. I read this somewhere or I saw this somewhere. But essentially, he's in Bangladesh making like AI slop to cater to reform voters. And it'll be something like people with the Union Jack singing the anthem, the God Save the King, or even, like some crazy stuff like that. And I'm like, guys, don't believe what you see on the internet. Literally don't believe what you see on the internet. This controversy is indicative of those particular things. When I tell you that the issue here is not the gene ad, it's not even the white supremacy, it's just like this idea of this cultural debate that because the way marketing works the way that it does, and a lot of it works through social media, you're gonna want to get the most amount of features or likes or comments or just traffic into like you on your page and on your posts based off of rage bait. So this is what that was. To even sit down and believe that, this is what she's about, this is what she believes. When I tell you, Sweeney sat in that interview with Catherine Stoffel and said, I just did a jeans ad. That's not how she speaks, by the way. I'm not trying to mock her, but that's literally what it sounded like. She was just there like, listen, I just did a jeans ad. That's literally what she said. She don't care. She doesn't care. Like, it's actually tiring. Not that I've debated anyone about this, but it's like, I think, what I specifically think is that people should be very cautious about which celebrities they wish to engage in. They should just be very wary of celebrity culture in general. Because I know for a fact you have other things to think about. People who are engaging in this, do you guys not have homework? Do you not have bills to pay? Why is this something that you care about? The irony is that I'm literally doing that. I'm literally chiming in, but I'm very late to the chime in. I don't have a podcast. This is what I do. I talk. But other people, but it's like I don't have a parasocial relationship with these people. What am I doing? I'm analyzing this from another perspective. I'm literally looking at this and I'm like, guys, is this worth our time? As a society, do we not have better things to think about? Are there not? Also, as the president of the United States, Mr. Trump, how are you chiming in on this? Don't you like? That one is also problematic. Because what? How is this something that you care about actively? Actively, how is this something that you're caring about? Surely this doesn't make sense. Surely you have better things to do. Surely we all have better things to do than to comment on a woman who's just trying to get her bag up. I'm not going to defend, like I said previously, I'm like, she shouldn't have done this ad. She made her money, whatever, but she should not have done this ad because she knows full well what she was doing. Her trying to act naive does not help her. Because, girl, you are not ditzy. You have gotten here somehow. You know a few things. You know one or two things. I know for a fact you know what you're doing. She probably said, money depleting. I need to find a way to pivot. This movie thing, I don't know. Because apparently 2 of her movies have already flopped in the box office before this controversy. So that tells me everything I need to know. That tells me that Sydney Sweeney is trying to make a pivot. She is going to sexualize her body to do so. She doesn't care about that. She's like, it'd rather be me than it be you. Which I fully respect because I am for women having complete autonomy, bodily autonomy, and bodily choice over what they do with their bodies. So that's fine. But this specific ad, girl, you should have stayed far away from this. You could have asked them to do something else. You could have asked them to make it subtle. You could have asked a lot of things. So it's like for you to actively be like participating in this ad and be like, yeah, I just did a jeans ad. Girl, you know damn well. Not smart. Not smart. But hey, it made her money and it made American Eagle money. So clearly we know which side they're on. But you know what? American Eagle is just a company. So in a few years, if we're back on the rainbow train, if we're back on the DEI train, they will be there also. And they'll be calling someone else say they have great genes, who's not white and who's not blonde, who's not blue-eyed. Simple. So guys, the key takeaway is that the Sydney Sweeney jeans conversation is less specifically about the jeans and more about a viral marketing moment that unexpectedly ignited a major cultural debate on race, beauty standards, and marketing messaging in 2025. That's literally what it did. That is the best way I can summarize it. Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. Next segment. We're back, and I just want to take the time to thank you, my listener, for coming on to this podcast and tuning in with me and hearing me rant about. I can rant about celebrity culture every single day. I think it's something that really disgusts me. Even when I was on socials, I wouldn't follow celebrities. I would deadass follow my friends. What celebrities are doing is not my problem. I love reality TV. I don't follow reality TV stars. Outside of what they want me to see, I'm not interested in their lives. I'm not. I'm not worried about what celebrities are doing because it's like I don't live their life. I don't live their day to day. Unless my friend is a celebrity, that's about it. Like, but at that point, I don't see them as a celebrity. I see them as my friend. So it's like I don't advocate for parasocial relationships. Like, this person doesn't know you. Why are you praising them so much? Like, chill with it. It's not that deep. It's never that deep. It's one of those things that's like, you know what, like, cool, celebrities exist, yes, influencers exist, but we don't have to now have this like super strange relationship with them where we like almost worship them as godlike. That's super strange. I don't advocate for that. I advocate for people being their own authentic individual selves based off of things that they like and things that they know and the things that they are aware of are authentic to them. What you see online is not everything. So I think that's something also people have to be very aware of. Like, Miss Sweeney has given us a glimpse into her life and what she might believe in, but at the end of the day, unless someone who knows her sits down with her and is like, girl, what you really think about all of this, we won't know what she thinks about this. Even in that interview, she was very well media trained. Like, her answers were very calculated. Even her facial expression, she kept it very cool and collected. Like, again, I don't think she actually cares. She got her bag. She can go. But that's how I think the wider conversation is about how we as a society perceive celebrities and how celebrity culture has weaved itself within our society to the point where a jeans ad can cause so much controversy and it can escalate up to the president of the United States. Madness. That's all I can say. What should you expect next week on the pod? Honestly, I'm going to talk about mergers and acquisitions. I think that's something that's interesting. This Warner Brothers stuff, I'm going to have to do my research. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to talk about next week. I think that'll be something that'll be really interesting. Let's see what they do. So yeah, I'm hoping to have more guests on. I'm also hoping to be on YouTube and Apple Podcasts very, very soon. I'm still working on it. I know some people have been requesting that I do so for a very long time. I think what happened is that I didn't want to have everything figured out when I started this podcast. I just wanted to start. I think there was so much I was anticipating. I was like, oh, I have to do this, then I have to do this. And it's like, girl, just start. And that's what I did. I just started, and now here we are. I'm like 7 episodes in. I'm happy with what I've been doing. I can figure out ways to be happier about my podcast as a whole. But it's a work in progress, so I'm just happy to be able to be doing it and still have the passion to do it and to find subjects that I'm passionate about to be able to like voice my opinions about it. So that's it, really. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those beautiful, beautiful things, and I will see you next week. Thank you for tuning into the Lex and Lace podcast. Bye.